Some stories aren't told to be believed. They're told because someone needs to hear them. This one starts with a tape and a name I hadn't spoken in years. I was never supposed to go back. Not because anything terrible had happened there. No trauma, no scandal. Just the slow erosion of a place that once held meaning, now hollowed by time. My aunt died on a Tuesday. The funeral was Thursday. I took the cheapest flight I could find, packed light, and told myself I'd be back by the weekend. I hadn't seen that house in over 12 years. It looked smaller, grayer, as if it had been holding its breath all these years, waiting for someone to return and let the air back in. The living room still smelled like lavender and old paperbacks, the kind of scent that wraps around memory and refuses to let go. I wasn't close with Aunt Carol. Not really. But she raised me after my mom disappeared. I was 5. One day she was there. The next day, no one would talk about her. Gone, they'd say. Let it be. So I let it be, until I found the cassette. It was tucked behind the bottom drawer in Carol's bedroom, in an old shoebox wrapped in a faded scarf. A dusty Walkman lay beside it, still holding a half-melted AA battery. The label on the tape read only one thing: July 1997. That's the year she vanished. I didn't play it right away. Something about it felt heavy, like opening a sealed door in a house you thought you knew. I stayed up late that night, sitting on Carol's old floral couch, the Walkman in my hands, tape loaded, headphones over my ears, and then her voice, my mother's voice, after all these years, calm, gentle, like she was sitting in the room with me. "If you're listening to this," she said, "I guess I never got the chance to say goodbye." My chest tightened. The tape was just her talking. No music, no breaks, just stories, memories, apologies. She talked about her childhood, about me, about why she left. "They wouldn't have understood," she said, "but maybe you will one day." I must have listened to it 10 times, every word etched into me like a second skin. The next morning, I drove across town to the library, not really knowing why. Maybe to feel close to her, maybe to distract myself. I asked the librarian if they had any local newspapers from 1997. She looked at me like I was a ghost from the archives. I found the obituary section for that summer. My mother's name wasn't there. No article, no report, just silence. I drove past our old house. It looked abandoned. The paint was peeling, the windows shuttered, but the front porch still had the same wind chime she used to hang every spring. I parked down the block and sat there for half an hour, just watching. No one came in. No one left. Something was off. I didn't know what yet, but the silence didn't feel accidental anymore. I waited 2 days before I went back to the house. I don't know what I was expecting. Some kind of sign, maybe. Closure. Or confirmation that this was all just in my head. The lock on the front door was new. That struck me as odd. Through the window, I saw movement, a curtain swaying, a shadow stepping back. I rang the bell. No one answered. I left a note. Just a name, my name, and a number. The call came that night, just after midnight. A man's voice, calm, older. "We should talk," he said. "Tomorrow, noon, the diner on 5th. Then he hung up. He was already there when I arrived, sitting in the corner booth, coffee in front of him, eyes watching the door. I recognized him the moment I saw him, though I didn't know from where. His name was Arthur. Said he'd been a friend of my mother's. Said he was there the night she disappeared. He didn't call it that. "Left," he said. "She left." I asked him why. He stirred his coffee like he was remembering something heavy. "She was scared," he said. Of what might happen. Of what already had he wouldn't say more. Not yet. But he handed me something. A photo. Faded. Folded. Torn at the edge. It was my mother, maybe a year before she vanished. Smiling, holding a baby I didn't recognize, and standing next to her was Arthur. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the photo at the baby in her arms. Blonde hair, maybe a year old. I wasn't an only child. That much was clear now. But who was the baby? And why had no one ever told me? I called Arthur the next morning, asked him to meet again. He didn't answer. No reply. I drove back to the house. The new lock was gone, the door was ajar. Inside, everything was quiet. No one was there, but someone had been. The shoebox was gone. So was the Walkman and the tape. That evening, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. A woman's voice. "I knew you'd come looking eventually," she said. I froze, my heart pounding. "Who is this?" There was a pause. Then, "You already know." It was her. My mother. Older, softer, but still her. She told me not to ask questions. Not yet. "There's more to this than you understand," she said. She asked me to meet her, just once. No phones, no recordings, no promises. A train station, Sunday, noon. Then she was gone. I stood on the platform at 11:55. The sun was too bright, the air too still. At 12 o'clock, the train pulled in. People got off. People got on. But not her. I waited. 12:10, 12:20. Nothing. Then, just as the train began to pull away, I saw her. At the far end of the platform, standing behind a pillar. She looked at me, just for a second, and smiled. Then she turned and walked away. I didn't call after her. I didn't run. Because in that moment, I finally understood. Some stories don't end with answers. Some end with acceptance.
If you've ever carried a story you weren't sure you could share, this is your place. In the comments or in silence, you're not alone. And if this story touched you, maybe share it with someone who needs to hear it too. More stories are coming. Thank you for being here.